The calf represents the super consciousness, that ability of seeing beyond the appearance of things, of penetrating into the real significance. In the last video, we looked at the incident when David and his men took refuge in the cave of Adullam, in which he wrote Psalm 142. And it's an example of how we are to wrestle in hard times and endeavour to see beyond trying situations. In 1 Samuel chapter 22 verse 2, David's faithful companions during this time were described as Mar Nefesh, meaning bitter of spirit. These were good men who stood by David and shared his dangers and privations. Their loyalty is something that we should emulate in our relationship to Jesus. But should we emulate their bitterness of spirit? Probably not. However, for people who operate in the realm of the kaf, the renewed mind, there is a sense in which all believers should be angry with the state of modern society. Jesus came to bring us peace, not passivity. There is a price to pay when a person sees beyond the surface. He can find himself weeping when others laugh and laughing when others weep. It doesn't fit in anymore. That's a price that David's fighters paid every day. Now, I don't want to spoil these videos about God's holy letters with lists of today's depravities, and besides, we all know what it is we're referring to. These things shouldn't make us bitter, but there should certainly be fire in our spirits. Apart from the obvious sins of our society, even something like the devaluing of the language should deeply disturb us. Many words have been taken hostage and recruited to mean the very opposite of their original meaning. Words such as love, gay, martyrdom, honour, riot, wicked, courage, heroism, and so on, many, many more. These words are friends that we've surrendered without a murmur, even misusing them occasionally ourselves. Language is the currency of thought, and every devaluing of it damages our ability to communicate. That means the words of the saving gospel of Jesus. Think of it. Tens of thousands could be denied the chance to hear and respond to a clear exposition of the gospel of Jesus Christ simply because words have lost their meaning. Only wicked men and Satan himself think it's funny. The person who lives in the realm of the kaf, the renewed mind, weeps when others laugh, and vice versa. David and his band of loyal men were hunted down in the wilderness, often living on whatever they could find. They didn't politely surrender. They were aware of the gravity of the situation and what was at stake. And we too must be in no doubt as to what is at stake. It's the true and unique gospel, which is being attacked from both the world and the false church. We have enemies without and within. Now this should make us angry, yes, and determined to resist with spirit, fervour and watchfulness, but not bitter of spirit. Definitely angry, however, for the sake of the glory which is departing, and the lost people who have had their chances of being saved abbreviated. Be angry, but sin not, Ephesians 4:26. This rejection of passivity for fervour of spirit is a small price to pay for the gift of the renewal of the mind. Every glorious reality we see in the spirit adds to the pain of seeing so much spoiled in this realm. Jeremiah promised himself that he would keep his mouth shut, but his resolution didn't last long. He said, "My heart burns within me when I remain silent." Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 9. The foundations of those countries which composed Christendom are being removed. The glory of past generations is daily being defaced, characters maligned, and history revised. And all this without so much as a whimper from many Christians. Even the proper care of the planet has been hijacked and has descended into virtual worship of Mother Nature. But we have been crucified to the world, and the world to us, Galatians 6:14. We cannot fit in with modern society. We are at odds with the world and have chosen that position rather than to be at odds with God himself. Friendship with the world is enmity with God, James 4:4. Once we get it settled that the world doesn't like us any more than it liked Jesus, then the fog clears and things begin to look up. Once we die to the world, we are beyond the reach of the world. We are indestructible. That is one of the priceless advantages of the crown, or keter, of a renewed mind. But the problem we have with the world is as nothing compared to the issue of passivity in the church, which is the result of unrenewed thinking or a neglect of the consciousness of the Holy Spirit represented by the kuf. Now, this passivity is regularly mistaken for some sort of spirituality, that the person is taking the higher road and is not judging others. Now, when Jesus said, "Judge not that ye be not judged," Matthew 7:1, the context shows that he was warning against using false standards to judge. In that situation, it was Pharisaism. Today, it's liberalism. Both lead to a lifeless world. Jesus didn't shrink from commending one thing and denouncing another, and neither should we. That's called loving people with the truth. The person wearing the keter is not wildly popular. He's different, and that won't be tolerated. The spirit within a Christian is constituted for warfare. A Christian will not surrender so much as an inch to the enemy, not even a word. But if he has to walk alone, he has to walk alone. Except Jesus is by his side. But you need to be wearing the keter to know that.